So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to work on the CSS. So I'm going to open up the style.css, and then in the style.css I'm going to add the following design. First of all, I'm going to create the container class. I'm going to say container, and for the container I'm going to say here width, and the width is going to be 360 px, and the margin is going to be 15 and auto. 15px auto. This is gonna center the div. This is gonna center this div. This div is gonna be centered because here I said auto. And then I'm gonna work on the app class, this app class. So here I'm gonna say app, and for the app I'm gonna say width, and the width again is gonna be 360. The width of the app is gonna be 360 px. 360. The height is going to be 40 px. The background is important. The background color. So the background color is gonna be F8 F8. And the border left, I'm going to add border left and border right. So I'm going to say border left. So the border left is going to be 11px solid. And then let's add some color here. I'm going to say 0, 3, 4, 6, 9, 3. And I'm going to say border right. So the border right is going to be also the same. It's going to be 11px solid. And then I'm going to use this color. E89E01. And then I'm going to add a border, a box shadow. So I'm going to say box shadow. So the box shadow is going to have the following numbers. First 0 and then 60 px, and then 45 px, and then minus 50 px. And then the color is going to be RGBA 0, 0, 0, and 20.25. And then comma, and then 0 here, 0 minus 50 px, and 45 px, and 50 px. And the color, again the color, minus 50 px. And then the color is going to be the same, RGBA 0, 0, 0, and 25. And this is for the app. Now let's work on the header. Remember, we have here the header, we have this header. So for this header I'm going to say dev dot header. So for the header I'm going to say position, and the position is going to be relative, and the width is going to be 100%, and the height is going to be 140 px. Next, I'm going to work on the theme. We have here the theme. We have this theme. So for this theme, I'm going to say span.theme. So for the span.theme, I'm going to say position. I'm going to first change the position. So the position is going to be relative, and the width is going to be only 45%. And the display is going to be inline block. This is for the display. And I'm gonna also change the height, the text align to be centered. Text align center. This is for the theme. Now we have the theme left and the theme right. So we have here theme left and team right. So for these, I'm going to say span dot team left. So for the team left, I'm just going to say float left, because we want this span to be displayed on the left side, and we want this span to be displayed on the right side. So we need to say similarly for the span right. I'm going to say span dot team right, and then I'm going to change the float. The float is going to be right. And then we need to work on the last two classes, and they are the name and the team and the score. So also the team here, I'm going to add a few things. For the team, I'm going to say span dot team, and also span dot name. I'm going to add the following design because they are going to have the same. A few things will be the same for these two. So the width is going to be 70%. The width is going to be 70%, and the display is going to be block. Display is going to be block. And then the text transform, text transform. The text transform is going to be upper. I'm going to make it uppercase because I want it to be, I want the letter to be, all of the letters to be to have uppercase. And then font, I'm going to change the font size. The font size is going to be 18px. And this is for the text. For the font weight, I'm going to change the font weight to be 500. Font weight. The font weight is going to be 500. And the letter spacing, we want to add some spacing between the letters. It's going to be 1px. And the color of the text is going to be RGBA 000.8. And finally, I'm going to change the padding. I'm going to say padding. The padding is going to be 5%, 15%, 0%, and 15%. Finally, we need to work on the score. The score is the last thing that we need to work on. So the score, I'm going to say here span dot score. So for the score, I'm going to say position. The position is going to be absolute. And the width is going to be 100%, and the height is going to also be 100%. So I'm going to say the width is going to be 100%, and the height is also going to be 100%. And we need also to change the display to be a block. I'm going to say display inline block, and the left is going to be aligned to the left, to the far left, and the text is going to be the text align is going to be centered. Text align center. Finally, I'm going to work on the font and the letter. So for the font, I'm going to say font size. I'm going to change the font size. So the font size, I'm going to say 15px, and the font weight. The font weight is going to be 600. The letter spacing. The letter spacing is going to be 2px. And finally, the color and the text, the line height. So the color is going to be 000.8, and the line height is going to be 40px. Let me now save and let me add here some text. So I'm going to say here, I'm going to say team 1, and here I'm gonna say team 2, and then in between here I'm gonna say the result. I'm gonna say, for example, 0 0. And let me save, and let me now restart the server. This is very important. You need to open the terminal, and then if your server is up and running, you need to kill that server, and because sometimes it might not work. CSS sometimes requires you to restart the server and reopen the browser. So here I'm gonna run my server, and then I'm gonna reopen my browser. Let me wait until this is finished. So now if I head on over to the browser, you'll find that here it's being displayed, but it's behind the navigation bar. The problem is that I need to change here something in the CSS. Here I need to say margin. I'm going to say margin top. So the margin top is going to be 50px, or let's say 60px. So if I say margin top 60px, and let me run my server one more time. And if I refresh, as you can see, it's going to be displayed like this, and it looks amazing. This is the block or the card that I'm going to be using to display the team 1 and team 2, and then the result in between, which looks amazing. And by the way, if the CSS doesn't work for you, you need to close down your browser and reopen the server in a new, in a fresh browser, in a fresh tab.